those poll results showed, and this is over 600 samples, that there was one person separating Scott Walker from me. Wow. Not 1%, one person in that poll. So this is going to come down to whether we get people out to vote. That's what it's going to be all about. All about. I want to thank Corey, I want to thank John. I obviously want to thank, where's the big guy? John. Everybody, Robert, who's back here, Bob Turner, everybody's involved. John Lehman, who I hope is out working. Because obviously we have to do everything we can to get John Lehman elected to the Senate as well. So here's what we need to do. We need to make sure that you're talking to everybody that you can. And the first thing, which is really the easiest part, is to find one person, just one, this is just the beginning real fast, one person who didn't vote in 2010 and get them out. So that's the first assignment. Then, of course, we have to get everybody that we know, everybody that we've gone to school with, everybody that we're our neighbors, our relatives, even if you ever have been in a bar, anybody that you met. That doesn't happen. Again, this is, I look at this now and I go back 16, 17 months when it started, and Bob knows this, he's lived through it, Peter, Corey, Bob Turner have all lived through this. It started 16 months ago, and there were two issues that really kicked this thing off. One was a question of integrity, because Governor Walker had the surprise attack when he said he was going to drop the bomb. And it was at that surprise attack, I think, that really started people thinking, what's going on here? Why is he governing the state in a fashion where he never discussed it at all during the campaign? So that was an issue of integrity. And it led, I think we all realized, to this grassroots movement, because it wasn't the politicians, it wasn't the political parties, it was the people of the state who said, wait a minute, there's something wrong here, there's something wrong here. And they were the ones that walked in the streets peacefully, whether it was in Kenosha, Racine, Milwaukee, or Madison. And they were the ones that gathered the signatures. It was the people who did this, and sometimes people forget it. This was truly a small D democracy movement that started this. And now we come 16 months, and it's almost full circle, because the issue of grassroots is still what's going to do this at the end of the day. And it's also an issue of integrity, because now we know that Governor Walker's this investigation is just swirling around him over and over again, with the 13th aide or 13th person who's associated with him getting immunity because she refuses to answer questions on the grounds that may incriminate her. And this is a woman who works in his office. And we've already had several people from his office charged with crimes. We've had 15 felony counts. And he refuses to answer any questions. And he's desperately trying to get over the finish line without answering these questions. He won't say who's paying his criminal defense fees. He won't release the emails that could vindicate him once and for all, or show that he's got involvement. But the questions that are raised when you have a secret, illegal computer network set up 25 feet from your office, from here to that exit sign, that raises loads of questions, and people are concerned about that. As are the questions that arise when you've got a governor who raises 60 to 70% of his money from out of state. And I'll tell you this, I appreciate all of your generosity, everybody here. There's two things. One, I'm happy you're from Wisconsin, and two, you can rest assured I'm not going to use your contributions for my criminal defense. Jobs, and now we've had this back and forth on jobs, and I paused and I thought, wait a minute, okay, so here's the debate. Do we have the worst job performance record? And this is not applause lines in any fashion. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that he has the worst job creation record in the nation. And he says, no, don't believe those numbers. Believe the numbers which show that we have the worst job creation record in the Midwest. I mean, neither of them. Either one of those. But that's what he's hanging his hat on, that he's got the worst job creation. And I really believe this. I believe what happened was back in February of last year, there was this fork in the road. And he could have devoted his energies to working to create jobs, like he said he was going to do in the campaign. Or he could go down this road where he would become the poster child for the right wing in this country. Right. And that's the route that he chose. That's the route that he chose. And he chose it. And he is now. He's really the darling, the poster boy, the rock star of the far right. But he chose that route. And then you've got that coupled with the preoccupation with all of your aides being charged with crimes. And he's taking his eye off the ball, which is to create jobs. And that's what we have to do. But it doesn't even end there. It's about making sure that women and veterans have access to our state courts if they're denied equal pay for equal work. It's making sure that our Department of Natural Resources is working for us. It's whether you've got this billionaire who gave him $500,000 from Texas, then he brings this deer czar up from Texas, a guy whose record is to try to constrain public lands for hunting and make it more expensive for people to hunt. And I start thinking, wait a minute, he's harping about how he doesn't want Wisconsin to be like Milwaukee. Well, I'm here to tell you, I don't want Wisconsin to be like Texas. So we know that the time is running short, and we know there's a lot of work to be done. And I just want to thank you all so much for everything that you've done. But to let you know that really our work is not done. And what we have to do is we have to work till 8 o'clock on Tuesday. 8 o'clock on Tuesday, then we can rest. And then we start working again with the new administration. But And I want to close on this, because one of the big issues, of course, was education. And Chris is an educator. Some of you may be educators. And I just want to share this with you. So Chris is a tough customer, and I can say that about my father. In 21 years of marriage at home, I've never won a single fight. There's only been one time in our marriage where I've seen my wife rattled, and that was last year. And it wasn't because she was going to be paying more towards her health care or towards her pension, neither of which nobody wants to do, but she understood that. But she was rattled because she felt that her vocation, not her job, her vocation was under attack. This was a governor who did not value education. And she chose that as her life's mission, to educate children. And somehow, the fact that people, many times women, chose education, chose working with the future of this state as their profession was demeaned. And so I'm fighting for her, I'm fighting for you, I'm fighting to make sure that the middle class in this state has representation, because we know he's done a great job representing the wealthy people. He's done a great job representing the wealthy people.